Welcome back, everyone, to the Mayhem Original Podcast. This is episode 4, the Super Bowl wrap-up. The Super Bowl just ended a little while shortly ago, and we're here to talk about it. Mizpah, executive producer, and of course, off screen we have the Breeze in case we mess up any facts or need anything looked up. Mizpah was a good Super Bowl. I mean, again, another game that came down to the last drive, and it was within one score. I mean, only 3 points, 23-20. The Rams take it.
Yeah, it was one of the better Super Bowls I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, this game definitely kept you right to the end. There's been games in the past where it's halftime and you're like, oh, well, we know what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
And this definitely was not one of those.
No, it was...
I really felt like there was some missed opportunities on both sides to capitalize on. I mean, the Bengals missed the opportunity to capitalize on an interception.
Yeah.
The Bengals missed an opportunity. But neither team, I felt...
Well, the Bengals also allowed too many sacks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
but that's been, I mean,
Matthew
the
Stafford,
whole season.
Well, remember the stat that we found out at the beginning of the Super Bowl. This is the... what is it? Joe Burrow was sacked the most in the NFL in the regular season this year. And Matthew Stafford, Matthew Stafford had the second most interceptions, I think it was, thrown this year, and they made it to the Super Bowl. So yeah, there were going to be some problems, and Joe Burrow got sacked a lot.
Oh yeah, and there are still statisticians out there trying to figure out how these two teams got to the Super Bowl.
With those two big stats being the interceptions and the sacks, because normally those are big things that teams that make it to the Super Bowl usually don't allow many of those things.
Yeah, and I mean, usually to get to the Super Bowl, you have to be on point and, have an excellent offense and excellent defense, not make very many mistakes, be very consistent, constant drives. Neither one of these teams was really able to put that together. But it was still a really good game.
They had each team had a few good drives, but it wasn't consistent. It was all the offense was inconsistent, which is a tribute to their defense. I mean, the Bengals shut down the Rams' running game right from the start. The Rams had very, very little rushing offense.
Yep.
So they had it shut down, but they did not cover the pass quite as well. And the Bengals, they had some better run. More luck in the running game
than the pass.
Yeah, but they were still also passing the ball. But the defense, the defenses and the offenses both showed up for the game, and that's also something we don't always see in Super Bowl games.
I feel like it's one of the first times in a long time we've seen two teams that showed up and were pretty equal opponents.
Yeah.
And I think that's the product of what we saw.
23-20, yeah. Another. I mean, the whole postseason. This is what, the 7th or 8th postseason game that was within one score and came down to the final drive. So this was something you don't see in the NFL in the postseason in general, not just in the Super Bowl, but the postseason in general. You don't see games this close.
And I think because of the fact that, and I know it sounds really cliche, but I think the Rams and the Bengals had more drive, more desire, more heart than the rest of their opponents this season.
Yeah.
I think that's what got them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The one thing that the Rams did that the Bengals were not able to do, and again, it came down to the fourth quarter, was they had a score in every quarter. So in the first quarter, the Rams had a touchdown. The second quarter, they had a touchdown and missed the
extra point. Yeah.
And then that was because of a little snafu there.
Yeah, they bobbled the snap a little bit.
And then they got a field goal, and then in the fourth quarter, a touchdown. Whereas the Bengals in the first quarter got a field goal, and then the second quarter, they got a touchdown. And in the third quarter, they got a field goal and a touchdown, but nothing in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
A goose egg.
Yeah. Well, that was when the sacks. It was in the
fourth quarter.
It was in the second half and in the fourth quarter mostly when I mean he was getting sacked in the same, right 2 times right in a row once, and then the very next play he'd get sacked again and it'd be 3rd down and 20. They encountered a number of 3rd downs and 20s in this game. So
and it appeared to be a pretty clean game. Up until the last minute.
Yeah, up until the last minute, there was 3 flags thrown. One was on the Bengals for running on the field. It was a celebration penalty, but it was because someone who wasn't even in uniform, they were wearing a sweatshirt, ran onto the field and was celebrating. Yeah, that's just stupid right there. That's just stupid.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a really dumb penalty. And then the other one was the what was the other one? The pass interference? The holding. The defensive holding.
But then, if you look back at some of the highlights, there were a lot of missed calls from the refs for both sides.
Yeah.
I picked up a couple of them. I picked up a missed face mask call.
Yeah, the face mask with, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But yeah, the face mask call on the Bengals touchdown.
Yeah. And then there was missed pass interference.
Yeah.
On the Rams, so I felt like the refs kind of really backed off and were kind of just letting them play ball.
Yeah.
Until the last minute.
Yeah. Yeah, and the last minute or last 2 minutes, I guess.
Yeah,
it was what it
was.
There was so many flags in the last 2 minutes in the last 2 drives. It was
How about
crazy.
The double flags where the penalties canceled each other out?
Yeah. Yep.
Basically, it was a mulligan repeat first down.
Yeah. Yes, that was when the Rams came back to take the lead, and you made a joke, but it wasn't. I mean, you said if you have 50 tries to get into the end zone, they did have a number of tries. I think it was 7 or 8 tries to get into the end zone. So when you have that many, it's really hard for the defense to stop them when you're that close. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, the penalty up until the last minute, it was a pretty clean game.
So, as far as that last touchdown by the Rams, who do you think is to blame the most for that? Did the Bengals have too many penalties that hurt them? Or did the Rams just set up a good enough...
Listen, Cooper Kupp was the guy catching the ball for the Rams through the whole game. So, they obviously... I mean, at some point you have to realize, you know what I mean? At halftime, I don't know why you didn't make an adjustment to double coverage every time Cooper Kupp is out there, just double coverage him. So I think that was where it was, because Cooper Kupp was the offense. I mean, they did some runs that didn't really do much. The Bengals shut down their offense. A couple of short passes to a couple of other people, but really it was Cooper Kupp that that caught everything, and he had 2 of the touchdowns.
The MVP.
Yes, he was the MVP.
So it was a very good game.
Joe Burrow looked good.
Joe Burrow looked really good.
And he played real good for a rookie. He's not a rookie, but this is only his second year. And usually young guys don't usually do good when they make their first Super Bowl when they're young like that. They usually don't do as good. They don't keep themselves composed. Joe Burrow did a really good job with that.
Can ask Mahomes about that.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes didn't even win his first Super Bowl appearance, so that's what it's usually hard for a guy who's in his first Super Bowl when he's young to pull one out. So
yeah, when he first walked on the field, he looked very intimidated.
Yeah, he looked ready to play though, but then by the end he was in pain because he had been sacked 7 times.
Well, and your leg's not supposed to bend the way his did.
Yes, that also.
And how about Stafford hurting his ankle?
Yeah, Stafford got out. Yeah, both the quarterbacks they didn't come out. They didn't miss any plays, but they both did face injuries on 3rd downs, and then they just punted it away. But they were ready to go on the next series, both of them.
Odell Beckham Jr.?
Yeah, he got knocked out.
I'm pretty sure that's a knee. ACL probably again.
Yeah, maybe. That's likely to be at the end of his career. If he's got a serious problem that maybe requires surgery, then that might be the end of his career.
Yeah, because...
But at least he got a Super Bowl. Yeah, he got a Super Bowl win. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got confused there about who he played for.
Well, and at this point, I think that labels him injury-prone, and nobody's going to want him.
I don't know. I mean,
Well,
he still can
I
catch the
shouldn't
ball,
say
but you're
that.
right. He's been facing injuries, and knee problems are a real problem. He came back from the first one, but I don't know if he'll come back from a second one. I don't know that he'll keep playing,
And
though.
if
he really
you watch the
requires surgery,
replay, it didn't even look like it was that bad.
no, it was one of those turf injuries. He planted his foot.
Planted his foot way too hard.
Yeah, he planted his foot, and his knee just went.
Yeah, he
I made a
planted
little
his
sound
foot.
effect there because that's what it sounds like when you.
No, it's kind of more of a but
Yeah.
But no, like when you could see in the replay, he planted his foot. The bottom half of his leg just stopped moving.
Yeah.
And his knee kept moving.
Yeah.
And like you said about the turf.
Yeah.
That's
not the first time we've seen a turf injury like that. Yeah, he didn't come back in the game. And then in the end, Aaron Donald getting the sack at the end to finish it is good. He gets a Super Bowl ring. At least that's good. It's good. I didn't really have a team I was rooting for in this one. Both of them had good stories. And if either one won, would have been, something unique and special. Joe Burrow winning for the Bengals certainly would have been something. But I think it's also interesting that Matthew Stafford now is a Super Bowl winning quarterback on his first season away from the Detroit Lions.
Well, what's that say about the Lions?
That's what I'm saying. That's a organization that has got real problems. If Matthew Stafford just in the same year, just switch teams and then take us into the Super Bowl, that's.
Well, I think the Lions have some front office issues.
It would have to be. And poor Jared Goff. I mean, I like Jared Goff. He was good with the Rams. He's not as good as he appeared to be with the Rams. He was made to look better by the talent that was around him. Now that he's in Detroit, you're going to really see. I mean, listen, all I'm saying is Matthew Stafford is now a Super Bowl winning quarterback that couldn't get the Lions to do anything to barely make it to the postseason in 11 years. Okay? Jared Goff is not a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and he's their new quarterback.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for Jared Goff. I feel his career will be going downhill at this point because after he's beat to death on the Lions.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be another starter after Detroit, and I don't think he won't be much more than a backup.
And the Bengals need to do something to protect their quarterback a little more.
Yeah.
You do not want your quarterback to have the statistic of having the most sacks
and the most sacks
in a season,
and in the Super Bowl.
And in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and in the Super Bowl now. So that's no good. And the Bengals are going to need to spend some money on some offensive linemen.
Oh, absolutely.
And I believe they had offensive lineman trouble this season. They were saying in the game, and I'm pretty sure that was right. That they were they had offensive tackles playing in guards. Like they had people positioned around because they had injuries on their offensive line. But you got to have people that can take over for when that happens. So even if they don't need to spend money on their starters, because it just happened that all their starters got injured, you need to spend some money on the backups, though, because if that happens again, Joe Burrow is young, but he can't be taking that kind of punishment.
No, that'll shorten a career real quick.
Yeah, especially for a young quarterback. You can really, really mess up a young quarterback by letting him get hit that much. They can get, anxious in the pocket even when they do have a good pot. Like, it can really damage a quarterback's psyche. Taking that kind of punishment. And he did. He in the game and in the season.
He got pummeled in this game.
Yeah.
Like, pummeled. Like, he is going to wake up tomorrow feeling like he was hit by a bus.
Yes.
And how about the halftime show?
That bus's name is Aaron Donald.
This was the first halftime show in a while that I actually thought was pretty good.
It was good. I have trouble remembering one that is good. So if you think of one, let me know.
It's been a while.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know when. It's been a while, a long time. Like I can't even remember when one was good. So
I'm sure there's going to be some sort of controversy out there because
there's always
controversy around the halftime show,
and there's cancel culture people and there's people out there who just want to bitch to bitch. That's what they want to do.
Absolutely,
they just want to whine to whine. They want to find things to feel self-righteous about, and that's what they do. There was nothing wrong with the Super Bowl halftime show. It was a good one, actually, if you compare it to like every other Super Bowl that there has ever been. Then it was a really good one. Dre, Snoop Dogg. Then they got Eminem. They had Mary J. Blige. Thank you, The Breeze. Well, I struggled to reach for that. And then who's the other
Lamar?
douche? Kendall or Kendrick Lamar, something like that. One of the Lamars. He married one of the Kardashians.
Well,
and who cares about
and
that?
I had to look him up because I didn't know who he was.
I only know him because of there's a TV show, Kendall and Lamar. I'm pretty sure, and it's a Kardashian, Chloe and Lamar.
Okay.
I have to know some things. Believe me, I don't watch it. It's appalling what the Kardashians are, but so anyway, was nothing. I mean, he was you know,
and
blah.
I felt like the show was put together pretty well.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed that they didn't all get together to sing something.
Yeah.
And I felt like that it actually could have been just a little bit longer than it was.
Well, they
kind of felt a little rushed.
No, I mean that was about I bet if you go back and look at the time, I bet they're about close to The Breeze. Can you look up how long halftime shows usually are, and maybe give us any kind of comparison to what this year was like? Like, was it shorter or was it about the average time that they usually are? That's one thing I didn't think about until right now when you just said that, actually, about it. It didn't feel rushed. I don't think it was rushed. I think it was a normal time, but we'll get The Breeze to confirm that. But yeah, I would have liked to have them all got together for a song to sing something. That would have been good. Really awesome to see. Because we got to see Dre and Snoop Dogg on the song, you know, and they were kind of in it throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
But then when they brought Eminem in and stuff, they didn't like have one final thing with all of them. So
I have your answer.
Okay.
Super Bowl halftime show tends to run anywhere between 12 to 15 minutes, but the actual halftime break is closer 20 to 30 minutes.
Yes. All right. So 12 to 15 minutes is what the halftime show usually runs, with halftime itself being a little closer to 20 and 30 minutes, and I think it's closer to the 30-minute line. So, yeah, 12 to 15 minutes, and that's about what it was. I mean, yeah. It just was rushed because they ended up having five or six people in there.
Yeah.
So, and then they didn't finish with one, but that's okay. And it was good.
It was a good show. We did catch a couple of performers singing over top of their own vocals at a couple of points.
Or someone not singing at all and letting just the backup track play. Yeah. 50 Cent. Oh, he was the other one. He's who we missed. 50 Cent, we didn't mention him. He was also in the halftime show. We forgot about him.
Oh, yeah.
He was one that sang over top of his own tracks of his song. And Kendall Lamar, I don't know, or Lamar, whatever. I don't know what his name is.
Lamar.
I don't even know what he did. So leave a comment if you know what he did, because I don't know what he did, except at the end he stole part of the opening to Dre and Eminem's song. So I don't know if he did something, if his little thing was something that he does or he's known for. Leave me a comment, leave me a message, and let me know, because as far as I'm concerned, he did nothing.
But overall, I think our generation that has kids with this halftime show, the kids were looking at their parents like, who are you?
I don't know about that.
Because I guarantee there were parents out there singing along and
I believe that they're
into it.
I do believe that the kids may not have known the songs that they were singing. That I believe. But I don't believe that there's kids out there who don't know who Dre, Eminem, and Snoop Dogg are.
No, I meant their parents. Like, they're looking at their parents like...
No, I don't believe... I'm saying the kids. I don't believe that there's kids out there that really don't know who Dre... Maybe young kids, but I'm saying, like, teenagers and stuff. You think there is? You think there are kids out there who didn't know who they were?
No, I think they knew who the performers were. But I think when they saw their parents, like, starting to sing along and get into the halftime show... that probably threw them off a little bit.
You're probably right about that. Except for Kendall Lamar, who no one gives a crap about.
Yeah. I sure don't.
Yeah, me neither. And then, of course, 50 Cent, who did one of his hits from, 20 years ago.
Well, all of them were doing hits from, 20 years ago.
Yeah, but they were... Yeah, but see, Dre went through, like, 4 hits of his.
Yeah.
Eminem went through, 2 hits of his... Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has a lot more. But 50 Cent really didn't have much more than what he did.
No.
You find me in the club, and that's where you're going to find him, in the club. So you guys all thought, I know the viewers all thought, oh my goodness, he's going to break out in song. No, he's not.
But I felt like everything was put together pretty well. It was well organized, well designed, well executed. Pretty solid halftime show.
Not over the top with like any kind of weird shit. You know, they had a stage that they kind of moved around on, but it was nice and easy. It wasn't overly complicated.
No.
There weren't
Wasn't
flashing
like somebody
lights.
riding in on a rocket ship or something.
Yeah, there weren't huge flashing lights that were going off everywhere and stuff.
Not a bunch
so
of pyrotechnics or anything.
yeah, not pyrotechnics and shit. Yeah, it was about the music and the performers, and you know, like we said, for the most part, you know, Dre, Snoop Dogg, M, they killed it.
Yep.
I mean, they just killed it. They just crushed it. Mary J
Snoop,
did good.
You know, he loves football, so I'm sure that it wasn't even a hard sell for him.
Yeah, no, Snoop Dogg. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't demand to be in the booth. Quite honestly, I mean, in the Summer Olympics, he did the Olympic show. I'm surprised he doesn't have the Winter Olympics show going. They must NBC. What a missed opportunity again. You did good in the last Olympics by having Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart on like an Olympic wrap up show, and this time you totally don't even think about it and you don't even make it happen.
Well, maybe they asked him and he said no.
Well, it was pretty plain. They should have done it much more frequently. It should have been a nightly thing, as far as I'm concerned.
I'd love to see Snoop in an announcer's booth for football. I think he'd provide
Replace Collinsworth. # replace Collinsworth with Snoop.
Well, you could replace Collinsworth with pretty much anybody, and it'd be an improvement.
Yes. Yes, I don't like Collinsworth. If you don't know me personally, then you don't know that. But those who know me personally know that I don't like Chris Collinsworth. Chris Collinsworth, if you're watching this podcast, great job on the Super Bowl. Make sure you share it out.
If I took a shot for every time you mentioned his name, I'd be in the ER with alcohol poisoning right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just not no, I'm sorry, I don't like him. I was gonna try and sugarcoat that, but it's not worth it.
Hey, you're allowed to have your opinion on whether you like somebody as an announcer or not.
Yes, I don't have a problem with him personally. I don't know him personally. I just think he's
announcing is not the job for him.
Yeah, he's really bad at announcing. He's really bad at it. Al Michaels is one of the greatest commentators of all time, and you paired him with Chris Collinsworth, and that's just a tragedy.
I noticed a couple of times when he was announcing, it seemed like he'd start a sentence and then
not know where it was going.
Completely forget or have no clue where that was going to run at all.
Yeah.
They just kind of like, and I'm going to ramble and talk some more and ramble and hope that I can kind of find an end to this sentence because I have no idea what I'm talking about or what I even said to begin with. So I'm just going to end it here now.
Yeah, he's the Carl Pilkington of the football announcing community. And if you don't know who Carl Pilkington is, then you should go to HBO Max right now and watch the Ricky Gervais show. And you should watch it because he's hilarious. Carl Pilkington also has another show on Discovery, An Idiot Abroad, I believe is what it's called. That's not so good. But the show on HBO is good. You should watch it. In fact, if Mizpah and the Breeze don't leave here after this episode is over, I'm going to show it to them because it's hilarious. So anyway, Chris Collinsworth, he is the useless announcer of the NFL. Now that John Madden's gone. I didn't have a problem with John Madden. I just think he stayed doing it for far too long.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And Al Michaels is even getting up there. I don't imagine he'll be doing too much more. Maybe another season or two himself.
Yeah.
But Al Michaels is still good. I mean, I like Al Michaels.
And then that'll make Collinsworth the senior announcer.
And then we're all screwed.
But anyway, outside of the commentating, and
Collinsworth commentating, not Al Michaels. Just outside of Collinsworth commentating.
And the refs not really performing their job very well.
Certainly missing some calls. Certainly missing some big calls.
And making a couple calls that were questionable.
Yeah. Also throwing the flag when it was questionable. Yeah. For an officiating staff that the announcers hyped as letting them play, they certainly did for the most part for 58 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 minutes, I don't know what happened. They just decided, we haven't thrown enough flags.
Flag.
Yeah. The NFL just initiated a quota on flags. I don't know what happened. That's what it was like.
They got their call from New York.
I guess, maybe. I mean, there was times where I thought they should have been throwing flags when they was getting physical.
Oh, yeah. That when pretty much, both teams were at each other's throats.
Yeah, throwing hands in each other's faces.
There should have been multiple flags.
Yeah,
multiple flags.
Yeah, and they would have just been offsetting penalties. But the reason you throw penalties like that is because as soon as an official throws a yellow flag, most players are going to back off whatever they're doing. Oh shit, they're throwing flags
because they don't want to get tossed.
Yeah, exactly. Because those types of
after the flag
is not only that, but after the flag it becomes a different kind of penalty if you're still like being physical and stuff, and that can get you ejected nowadays too. So
and who wants to get tossed out of the Super Bowl?
Exactly.
Because if you do something dumb and get tossed out of the Super Bowl, that pretty much seals the fate of your career.
Yeah, I thought they should have thrown a flag. I thought I was going to get it a little out of hand when they started throwing hands and stuff. I thought it was going to get serious, but the players kept it under control, which that's credit to them to not take it further or not to continue to escalate it or anything. It did get very physical.
It did
for a little while after all those altercations started happening. Especially Aaron Donald. Honestly, that might have been the worst thing in the world to do at that time, because if that's what got Aaron Donald fired up,
yeah,
man, you made a mistake, because it was after that incident that Aaron Donald was just...
He turned on.
Yeah, like he was just doing stuff, and it was...
And some players, that's what they need.
Yeah.
And maybe he's one of them.
Yeah. Now, it wasn't only that, they stopped double covering him a little bit because they started sending blitzers, but, I mean, I'm just saying, coincidentally, that's where Aaron Donald was at his strongest, was after that incident.
Yeah.
Take that,
for what you will.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's... good. Let's talk for just a second. The women officials, which we talked about before. Hopefully we'll see that again next year, and we'll continue to see more increase in that. There was something else that I was going to mention that I completely forgot about. Oh, the Washington Commanders. They have a new name. The Washington Commanders.
I don't like it.
They have Cobra Commander being the mascot.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
No, of course that's ridiculous, The Breeze. The Breeze thinks I'm serious. I was just making a joke.
Thank God.
I was just making a joke.
I don't even know what their mascot looks like.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. That's why I made the joke about it being Cobra Commander.
There's nothing about that I like. At all.
Yeah, whatever.
It seems cheesy, hokey, just.
Well, who knows if there's even going to be a Washington team? Dan Snyder's in some trouble now with Congress because perhaps some bad practices going on. I'm working on that episode. I do not have it put together right now.
I didn't hear anything about that.
Yes, there's maybe some problems. The NFL. I mean, the NFL. They can come in and take a team away from you. For many different reasons, actually. You're still the owner, but you don't run it anymore. You're not like associated with it, and then they'll make you sell it to somebody else at the earliest convenience. And he's in some hot water, Dan Snyder, potentially with some bad practices and stuff, potentially racial and some so forth, like maybe holding people back and stuff like that. I don't know all the details yet. That's just speculation. I'm going to get the story together, and then I'll report on that on the Boiling Point podcast. Yeah, that'll be on the Boiling Point podcast. And that's a perfect segue into the shirts that we're wearing. The Boiling Point podcast, that is the sister show to this. That is where we talk about politics, world news, finance, that type of thing. Mayhem Original is strictly for entertainment. So tune over to the Boiling Point podcast if you haven't already, and check that out and look for that episode, as well as look for an episode on what's been going on with Joe Rogan, an episode on what's been the political issues surrounding the Olympics, and then of course next week hopefully we'll be back with another Mayhem Original. Maybe Merc will be back on. We may be doing a Star Trek episode next week, but at worst case, I believe Mizpah will be back sometime in the next week or week and a half to close out the Olympics. And then, of course, we're going to do the episode on the Boiling Point podcast about what it takes to qualify. How can you qualify for a country to represent them in the Olympics? Mizpah and I are going to be putting together an episode on that after the Olympics are over.
Yeah, I feel like you're definitely going to be teaching me some things on that because you seem to know a lot more about that than I do.
I don't know about...
I've been doing some research.
I don't know about the... No, I'm going to have to do it too on how you can qualify and stuff. I don't know. I don't know either. I really don't. I thought I did until this year in the Olympics when some people were switching countries.
That's gotten very interesting.
That's when I realized that I had no idea. I thought I did know the rules of how you could represent a country, but I do not. I definitely, clearly do not. So look for that because that's going to be an informative episode for all of us, including us, because we're going to learn about it before we talk about it on the podcast. So look for that. That'll be after the Olympics, though. So
yeah.
Make sure you. That'll probably be in.
That's a couple episodes later.
Yeah, three or 4 weeks, probably early next month, in early March or something like that. We'll be putting that together. So look for that. Mayhem Media. Facebook.com/Mayhem Media Inc. is the Facebook address. Check us out there. That's pretty much the primary place. We're on YouTube. We're on Rumble. You can look for us there as well. And of course, check out the Boiling Point podcast. And give that some watches and some shares. That's the only way that any of these podcasts are going to grow is if we get likes, comments, shares. So leave us a comment. Yeah, the Boiling Point podcast does have a storefront. Bonfire.com/store/the Boiling Point podcast, all in lowercase letters. Pick yourself up a t-shirt. I just redesigned the black t-shirts, so go pick yourself up a new one. And don't wait because I frequently change designs of my shirts, which I have done, so don't wait. If you want one, get one now, including Mizpah's shirt, the blue one with the metallic logo on it. That one I said up until Easter time. At Easter time, it goes away. So don't wait around. Buy a shirt now, the blue one with the metallic logo. If you would like that, pick it up before I take it down off the storefront. The Breeze is our off-screen fact checker. Mizpah is the executive producer, and I'm your host, JD. And that's the end.
Good night.